I often get asked about my feeling regarding the Nordiques. This is my feeling regarding the Nordiques. I very greatly would like to see the Nordiques back in the NHL. So when I say it's not going to happen, it's not because I don't want it to happen. It's because at this point in time, yeah. Anyways, speaking of expansion, the Golden Knights are in New York against the Islanders tonight. So here's the big test, right? Nah, if they beat the Islanders, people are still going to say, yeah, but it's just the Islanders. So, you know, it's just the Islanders. And I mean, no disrespect to Islanders fans. It's just that's the opinion of the Islanders because they haven't won a round in, other than the one against Florida, they hadn't won one in a long, long time. And beating Florida in a round, yeah. Anyways, the Islanders' reputation will only get better when they have like home ice in the first round and they do something in the playoffs. But for the Golden Knights, if they lose, the funny thing is if they lose, I fully expect people to say, wheels are coming off. This is it. They're on the road. They're done now. So it's going to be interesting. The Coyotes are in Philly. So the 11-game losing streak in Philly. Philly's got poor puck luck this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Coyotes win this on a wonky call, whether it's an offside call that's missed or a goalie interference called that shouldn't have been, or maybe Arizona gets a goal called back and then it's overturned and maybe it shouldn't have been. Something tells me because it's Philly and they have no luck this year that it's going to be a screwy call that's going to go against them. And they're going to miss Ghost on the blue line. It's sad that Ghost isn't in that lineup. Boston's in Columbus. Now, I've had Boston fans accuse me of not being, a real Boston fan and believing. If Boston wants me to believe, they have to win in Columbus. They have to win these big games. Now, winning in Columbus last year wasn't that big a deal. At the start of the year, Boston had a very impressive win over Columbus. As I remember it, they were ahead 3-0. Columbus tied it at 3, and Boston then won it 5-3. So it was a seesaw game, and Boston won it. We'll see if Boston can have that kind of game tonight. Montreal is in Ottawa. Now, the Senators have only lost 1 in regulation, or they've only won 5 out of 11 games. Glass half full, glass half empty. Montreal, on the other hand, they've won 3 out of 11, but they're coming off of that emotional win over the Rangers. You get the feeling like that win over the Rangers was more cathartic than their last win had been, that they had to beat the Rangers. And something tells me this game against the Senators, because there's a history between Ottawa and Montreal, Montreal should come into this one emotional, fired up, and Pacioretty should start really putting pucks in the net at this point. For his teammates, as a captain, he needs to show and lead by example. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And for the Senators, they need to start winning some games outright. Tampa's in Florida. So this is a season series that's tied at 1. Tampa's coming off of a loss against Anaheim. And this is a game that Florida, for them to put butts in seats in Florida, in Sunrise, they need to be a winning team. Let's be honest. It's a casual fan base. Your hardcore fans will show up no matter what. But if your hardcore fan base is smaller than other teams, you need to be winning to bring in those casual fans. Florida needs to go on a little bit of a streak here, and beating Tampa would kind of be a push towards that. So I'm looking for Florida to come out motivated, and we'll see how motivated they are. Everybody, both live streams last night was saying, Kings at Blues, who do you think's going to win? I'll take the Blues. I'll take the Blues because they're at home. I'll take the Blues because I think they're playing really fantastic hockey. And I'll take the Blues because I think the Kings are due for a setback. They're 9-1-1. The Blues are 9-2-1. I don't expect the setback to be a blowout. I expect it to be a close game. It should be fun. And the game I'm going to, Dallas and Vancouver. Dallas is 6-5, but I think as a Stars fan, they should be 7-4. One of the brain farts they've had that have caused them to lose a game, I kind of wish they hadn't had. At least 7-4 would be, a little bit here rather than the 6-5, which is flirting with 500 and potentially not making the playoffs. Vancouver, on the other hand, I cannot say enough good things about what Vancouver's had going on. I'm very excited to go down and watch with all my Nordiques gear. Kidding, I'm not going to wear Nordiques gear. That would just be confusing. For Vancouver, this is a big game. Every game is a big game. Because a lot of people are waiting for the wheels to fall off. Waiting for them to start falling back. Waiting for that collapse. And it could happen. There are plenty of teams in the NHL who have better high-end talent than Vancouver, better depth than Vancouver. I would argue that the difference between Vancouver's fourth line and first line is less than you're going to see with most teams in the NHL. So they can run 4 lines, but I will grant you that their high-end talent is not as explosive as the high-end talent of some of those other teams. So, again, half full or half empty. It depends how you look at it. And for Dallas, their defense has to show up. I could be going to watch a game that's 6-5 tonight. I really could. Toronto's in San Jose. So coming off of back-to-back losses, Toronto's in San Jose. It's an emotional return for Patrick Marleau. I look for him to have a big game. I look for San Jose to have a big game. But that being said, Toronto should be fun to watch this year all the way through. And even when they lose, they're entertaining. It's like, and I said it last year too, even when the Leafs lose, they're still entertaining. I'm looking for some really entertaining hockey tonight. And I think I'm missing some good entertaining hockey because I'm going to the hockey game. But if you're going to miss hockey, at least be going to a hockey game to watch the Canucks, because that's always entertaining. So yeah, tonight's games are going to be more of the same in that we're really starting to settle out who the haves and have-nots are and who's going to be fighting around that mushy middle. And I expect there to be some fight from some of the lesser teams would be really great. It would be nice to see Montreal do that. Because while I don't cheer for Montreal, when they do better, the league's more interesting. It's just the league is more interesting when the Montreal Canadiens are in the fight. Just based on their history and just how much is tied to that logo, that city, that fan base, that team. When they're competitive and they're good, it just makes the NHL a more interesting place to watch. So that's one of the things that I sort of fight with myself on regarding who I'm cheering for on any given night. Because, yeah, as somebody who's not a Montreal fan, I mean, if they finished 0-82, there's those of us that would laugh. But for me, as I said, if they're competitive and they're right in that race, it just makes everything more interesting. Because people are so pro and against Montreal, there's love or hate. And much like Toronto, there isn't a whole lot of in-betweens. You love them or you hate them. And that makes hockey more interesting. And it makes sports more interesting. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You guys can let me know your winners in the comment section below. Absolutely. And if you're right, you get bragging rights. And if you're wrong, we all end up wrong anyways. I end up wrong quite a bit. Based on my season predictions for standings, I could end up being really, really wrong. So, yeah, by all means, mistakes happen. Go ahead and throw mistakes into the comment section below. We'll forgive you later. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.